Hello and welcome to English 103 Intro to College Writing. One of the best things to do to start a class is to read over the syllabus and see what sort of ideas and objectives the course encompasses. It's a great idea to review that at the end of a course to see sort of where you've come and how you have adapted to those ideas and learned so very much. It's an encouraging thing. So in our class, there is essentially one thing that we're practicing. We are practicing academic writing, and we're going to get there by writing a couple of different kinds of styles. We are going to write an academic essay where we use research from the library, from the internet, sort of practice how to get in there and get good research from those places. We're going to write a literary analysis where we look at something and we read that story together, and then we say, what does it mean? What is this going toward? How can it help me grow, or what am I learning from it? And a reflection paper, which is a little bit like our first and last week's for both ends of that. But essentially, all of these are 5-paragraph essays, and we're learning how to put ideas that we come across into that particular format because it is used in much of Western civilization, and it's a great way to practice knowing what we're reading, because if we're writing it, other people are as well, and then we're going to find out how to do a breakdown of it so that if we're reading, we can find the thesis and find the supporting points and understand what they're doing with the conclusion. To get there, we're going to practice strong academic language and practice APA formatting. APA 7 is a lot better than the previous versions, but it still leaves some questions because it is open to interpretation. So I strongly encourage you, for every course, go ahead and ask your instructor for a sample of what they think is a great APA paper with quotes and references, just so you can get an idea of what that would look like from them. To get there, we're going to tackle different kinds of assignments. So from session 1 through 5, we'll have discussion threads. We make a main post responding to the questions and criteria presented, and hopefully we go check our peers out and see what at least 2 of them are doing and how they're responding to that information as well. I like to think of these as very open discussions. I don't critique you and criticize you for language and how you're approaching it. I mainly want you to just see what's out there and have a conversation. So they're a little different than the papers because we are having more of a conversation than we are writing academically. Then we have quizzes. We may think that we are reading and comprehending, but this is a great way to double check ourselves. I know I need it, so it's good for all of us. A couple of tips are going to come up throughout the course, so make sure you're looking at the student lounge and you're checking videos to get ideas and support. Look at the student lounge for support materials and discussions. You can always take a quiz more than once, so next video when I explore session 1, I'm going to talk about tips and tricks for taking quizzes, and I want you to keep that in mind. It is not wrong in any way, shape, or form to take the quiz more than one time. I encourage you to. And if you're struggling with specific areas, obviously there's a study guide, but it covers everything. So don't hesitate to reach out to me and say, could you direct me a little more carefully and closely to what I need? And of course, we can always have a conversation as well about specific items that you are exploring so that you can learn them. That's what I'm here for. I'm the subject matter expert to help you out with it. Finally, we have submitted assignments, and they're going to cover a range of things. 1, they're going to be those papers we're talking about, but 2, there are going to be revisions of those papers. So that's a whole nother element that, of course, there are videos on and that we'll talk about as we go through the class. But always start an assignment to see what kind of questions come up and then ask me questions. I love questions. There are lots of links and supports throughout the course, so look for calendars, for study guides, for templates, and links in the student lounge and under faculty contact information and office hours. There are lots of places, so don't hesitate as well to reach out and say, what do you have for this unit session, and I can help you find those or share them by email. The most important thing you have in any class is the subject matter expert, and in this case, that's me. So reach out, ask questions. That's what I'm here for. I think I have another slide on it, but I don't copy edit unless you ask me to. Copy editing means I go through it with a fine-tooth comb and I mark everything, and we have a lot deeper of a discussion, but that can be really overwhelming, so I tend to pick 1 or 2 topics to explore with you. So if you want that copy edit, if you want to go to that next step, don't hesitate to reach out and ask. So what's happening in a discussion thread? I like them to be chats. In a group discussion, I wouldn't stop someone and say, "Oh, I don't think your grammar was right on that sentence." That would be really silly. I might ask for more details. I might encourage examples. But when it comes to mistakes and errors, I'm going to be open to that because we should be having a dialogue. And that doesn't mean we speak perfectly every single time. I know I don't in an open dialogue. Some good ideas for tackling discussions is to treat them like a short answer response. It's a specific type of way to approach assignments. So here are some links from the OWL at Purdue University. You'll find I give you a lot of links from them because they have a really great writing lab, a YouTube video on it, and a presentation as well, just so you can get an explanation that makes a lot of sense to you. Look through them and sort of see what you can take from them. The most important thing, as probably all of you know already, is communication. If I know what's happening, I can support you. I often tell students that they don't have to have a question. We don't always know what the question is that we need answered. That's why I'm the subject matter expert and you're exploring and practicing. So reach out with that. Just say, that assignment, or help, or where are we going with this discussion? Ask those big sort of questions and I will help you narrow it down to the specific question you have. Don't feel like you have to have the question or a great question or the most important question. Just asking for help and reaching out for support is a really big element. I am obviously available during office hours and during our live Zoom times, but you can always reach out to me with other times. Let me know your time zone. Let me know a couple of times or windows of opportunity for reaching out to you, but reach for those kinds of things. And if I'm behind schedule, the same way you should communicate with me, I try to communicate with you. I aim to complete grading by Wednesdays. Friday is the university deadline. But obviously, life can do all kinds of things. And if you need it by a specific date, don't hesitate to let me know. And, things like the late assignment policies are for when we're not talking and when we're not connecting and getting the information we need to one another. So remember, if we're communicating, we're doing well and we can find solutions together. Feedback and grading comes in a lot of ways. So obviously there's a number, but don't stop by just looking at the number. I use the grading criteria, the rubrics, of course, that CCTU provides, that breaks down everything into certain categories and lets you see where you're landing in those. But I also try to put comments within your paper, so there may be comment bubbles, underlining different kinds of notes. And I like to share details and links in the feedback bubble. It's a lot of information, but I try to put things in different places so that you don't have to, for instance, look at the feedback bubble and think, oh, she's talking about X, but like, where is that in my paper? Instead, I'll put a comment and then maybe direct you to a link that's in the feedback bubble. So I'm trying to get all of those across to you. Don't hesitate again to reach out and say, hey, could we discuss this whole feedback process? We can log on and we can look at it from your side in a Zoom and then discuss each of the parts and why I'm sharing them. Remember, I'm trying my best to be clear and to help and support you, but that doesn't mean I'm going to hit it out of the park every time. I may make a mistake. I may not communicate it as clearly as I think I'm doing. So I need you to say, well, I don't get that, or I need more information, or that example really didn't work for me. What else do I need to know? It's a conversation. It's about communication. I don't try to edit in terms of giving you sort of a solution or an answer because there are so many ways to write well. Yes, there are mistakes that we can make. But if I want to, for instance, make a series of 3 items parallel, there are lots of ways I can do that. And I don't want to give you my voice and how I would fix it because that's how I write, that's how I speak, and that's not who you are. So my aim is to direct you to your voice and to help you find your solutions, things that work for you, things that delight you, things that make a lot of sense to you. So a lot of times I'm not going to give you just replace, fix, do. I'm going to say, well, this is one way to approach it. And what do you think? Which way would you like to approach it? So I try to create that space. And again, that's why you may have more questions or more things to talk about. So don't hesitate to reach out. Anytime feedback is confusing or surprising, reach out and ask for clarification. I don't mind those questions at all. I'm trying and you're trying, and together we get there. Finally, learning should be sort of fun. So anytime that you find class to be really overwhelming or exhausting, hi, yeah, we have a bulldog. Reach out and ask questions because it should be fun. It should be maybe some hard work, but it shouldn't be exhausting anxiety inducing, super stressful. Anytime that's happening, reach out and have a conversation with me because I'm here for that. So I hope that our course is fun. I hope that you enjoy learning all these different types of ways to write, and I hope that you leave with lots of confidence and excitement.